Assalamualaikum dear students, hope you are well and hearty. Welcome to NIEVS Homeschool. This is Fatema Sabrin Shikha, Assistant Teacher of National Ideal English Version School Morning Shift. Today I am going to take Bangladesh and Global Studies class for the students of class 8 on the topic of Chapter 2, Lesson 1-2. I am repeating, today our topic is Chapter 2, Lesson 1-2. Students, in this chapter we'll learn about the liberation, war and the independence of our country. We all know that we get our independence after the long 9 months bloody war. So, let's start our today's discussion. Chapter 2, Lesson 1-2, and the chapter's name is The Liberation War of Bangladesh. Students, we know that two-nation theory. We all know that about two-nation theory that was happened in 1947, and with this two-nation theory we got two separate nations, India and Pakistan. And when they got separated from Pakistan, we find two pairs. First one is East Bengal or East Pakistan, and another is West Pakistan. And East Bengal or East Pakistan is now present Bangladesh. Now we are going to talk about lesson 1, background of liberation war. Students, here I have written in short technique. If you read your text elaborately, you will gain so much knowledge. But now I am right here in short form so that you can maintain short technique and learn properly. Look, a general election that was held in Pakistan for the first time in 1970. So, if I ask you what happened in 1970 in Pakistan, there a general election happened in Pakistan for the first time, and Awami League was the party who was elected, getting a lot of votes. And when Awami League got elected, there we find a huge conspiracy against East Pakistan, against Bangabandhu, and against the people of East Pakistan. So that time Pakistan postponed this National Assembly. Basically here Pakistan means West Pakistan. The rulers postponed National Assembly, and that time president of AL, here AL means Awami League. Students, I am repeating, AL means Awami League. The president of Awami League was Bangabandhu, and Bangabandhu called for non-cooperation movement that was at the beginning of March 1971. So when non-cooperation movement starts, it starts from the beginning of March 1971. To build fort in every house, it was a famous speech given by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He said to build fort in every house on his 7th March speech. And on 25th March, we find the Black Night when the Pakistan army brutally killed the people, innocent people. They were Bengalis. And on 26th March, Bangabandhu declared the independence. Students, here look, 25th March and 26th March. These dates are very important for your MCQ, multiple choice question. 25th March, Pakistan army killed our innocent Bengalis massively. And on 26th March, Bangabandhu declared the independence. After 9 months bloody war, we get our victory. We get our independence on 16th December 1971. We find a sovereign nation, we find a flag of our own. Now, Awami League, power accepting preparation. So, in 1970, when Awami League got elected, that time Awami League was taking preparation for accepting their power. But that time, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who made conspiracy of National Assembly, he boycott the National Assembly, which was going to held at Dhaka. So when he said to boycott the National Assembly, that time Bengalis get reaction of East Pakistan movement meeting procession by all people. So all sphere of people, teacher, farmer, doctor, engineer, and every sphere of people, they react in a negative way. That means it's not negative way, it's their right to feel reaction, to show reaction, and they make procession, they arrange for meeting, make movement against the conspirators, against West Pakistan for their rights. And that time President Yahya Khan was the president of then Pakistan. He said to delay handing power to Awami League. That's why he suspended National Assembly. So not to hand over the power to Awami League, President Yahya Khan delayed handing power. He postponed the National Assembly, and from that time non-cooperation movement started. Now we'll learn about some important information related to the background of Liberation War. Students, Awami League declared hartal. Here we find two types of hartal in Dhaka city and the whole country. On 2nd March, Awami League called or declared hartal in Dhaka city, and on 3rd March, Awami League again called hartal in whole country. And on 2nd March, DACSU, that means Dhaka University Central Students Union, hosted first flag. This is most important when for the first time we hosted flag of our own is 22nd March, and on 3rd March full cooperation movement started, and it works continues till 25th March. So full cooperation movement starts from 3rd March and it ends till 25th March. On 6th March, after seeing this cooperation movement, full cooperation movement, Yahya Khan got afraid and he convened National Assembly on 25th March. So it was a massive movement. That's why Yahya Khan was afraid and he was agreed to call the assembly on 25th March. And on 7th March, Bangabandhu gave his famous speech at West Coast Maidan, and it was a public meeting at West Coast Ground. So now come to lesson 2, name historical speech of 7th March and the Bengalis preparation for Liberation War. Bangabandhu is instructed to maintain non-cooperation and declare the closure of schools, offices, educational institutions for an indefinite period. So when West Pakistan are not willing to hand over the power to the elected party, Bangabandhu raised his voice for the sake of the people of East Pakistan, because the people of East Pakistan were oppressed by West Pakistan. So that's why Bangabandhu raised his voice against all oppression, and he declared to close all courts, offices, educational institutions for indefinite time. He declared that there shall be no payment of tax and revenue till my country is liberated. Students, these speeches are very important because with this speech we get enthusiasm, we get power to raise our voice against that oppressors. So I am repeating, there shall be no payment of tax and revenue till my country is liberated. Another speech from an action committee in each village, each area under the leadership of Awami League. Remain ready with what you have. I'm repeating, from an action committee in each village, each area under the leadership of Awami League. Remain ready with what you have. So with this speech, Bangabandhu wanted to inspire all of the people what they have. They must have to be ready with their elements to fight with the oppressors. And in another speech, he declared, this struggle is the struggle for our freedom, and this struggle is the struggle for our liberation. This one is also another famous speech given by Bangabandhu. This struggle is the struggle for our freedom, and this struggle is the struggle for our liberation. This line bears a meaningful sentence. This is a meaningful sentence, and it has a deep meaning. So if we want to get our liberation, our independence, we have to raise our voice, we have to struggle, we have to fight with the oppressors, fight with West Pakistan, and our people, our every sphere of people get influenced by this declaration of Bangabandhu. Now, about participation in the session of National Assembly on 25th March, Bangabandhu gave 4 preconditions. When Yahya Khan convened that National Assembly will be held on 25th March, Bangabandhu gave some preconditions, and it was 4 in number. And the preconditions were withdrawing martial law, handing over power to people's representatives, inquiries into mass killing by the army, taking the soldiers back to the barrack. Students, these 4 are the preconditions of the National Assembly held on 25th March. So now again say with me, withdrawing martial law, handing over power to people's representatives, inquiries into mass killing by the army, taking the soldiers back to the barrack. Now we are going to learn more about 7th March speech given by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The speech of 7th March of Bangabandhu was the document of liberation of the Bangladeshis. So it is true, with this speech we get influenced by Bangabandhu. In 2017, UNESCO has recognized the historic March 7, 1971 speech of Bangabandhu as a World Documentary Heritage. So when UNESCO recognized it in 2017, also the memory of the World International Register. So 7th March speech was also the memory of the World International Register. And at that time, Dhanmondi 32, the house of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, became the office of the government. And from there, Bangabandhu used to communicate with the people of East Pakistan, with the leaders, with all massive people. And on 15th March, Yahya Khan arrived at Dhaka. And students, do you know why Yahya Khan arrived at Dhaka? He arrived at Dhaka due to the negotiation with Bangabandhu. And on 16th March, the negotiations started with Bangabandhu. And on 22nd March, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto also came for the negotiation with our leader, our father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And the day came on 25th March. We all know that the Black Night. It was called the Black Night for all Bangladeshis, all Bengalis, because on that day, Pakistani army brutally killed the most innocent Bengalis when they were sleeping at night. So students, that's all for today. We'll learn from lesson 3-4 at our next class. So please again look at this. This is the summary of lesson 1-2 from chapter 2. You have to read the text again at home. Students, that's all for today. Hope you have understood today's topic. If you have any question, you can ask me or any teacher when it is your time of live class. So that's all for today. Stay home, stay safe. See you again in our next class. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.